everyone. Happy 2022. We finally made it. This is a beautiful Thursday afternoon. I'm at the corner of Yonge Street and Lawrence Street, and I'm going to be walking northbound on Lawrence all the way up Yonge. I hope to make about 4 videos today. So from Lawrence to York Mills to Shepherd to Finch, and then Finch to Steeles. That's the plan for today. So I walk from home, which is just south of Eglinton and just north of Davisville. That took about, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes to get to this location. So my total journey walking today should be about 2.5 hours, give or take, pausing to look at something or slowing down to because of distraction. And I also want to thank all of you for watching my channel over the past year. I got my as a gift for Christmas from my husband, I received my camera, my GoPro camera, and my gimbal. And I started recording in January, but I had a chest mount for my camera, and it was I did a few videos. It was a total fail. So then I started to use the gimbal. And this is where we are at today. Still using the gimbal, so it's proven well. Also, I recorded 100 videos in 2021. Although some of them will be uploaded in 2022, because when we were in Vancouver over Christmas, I didn't upload them until we came home in the new year. So 100 videos recorded, and I have 10,000 views and 155 subscribers. I am so thankful to you guys. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you to my subscribers, my viewers. And let's see if we can get another 155 subscribers this year. That would be super awesome. I really do enjoy walking, but I have to admit I was inspired to record when I started watching YouTube during the pandemic. I never really paid attention to YouTube before that, and I was watching all kinds of videos, and then I started to watch, just came up on the feed, Johnny Strides and the Ken Continuum, so I started watching their channels, subscribed to their channels, and really enjoyed watching them. I still enjoy watching them. Those guys are worker bees. I could never keep up. Really, a really good channel. Really good channels, both of them. So yeah, I was want to really shout out the Ken Continuum and Johnny Strides. They were the inspiration behind recording my walks, so I can't thank them enough. I started recording, I think I started posting the end of January. I think the first video was late January. So I had to scrap the ones earlier in January for complete fail. Live and learn. And the inspiration for today's videos is the soon-to-be 33rd anniversary of my move to Toronto. I moved here January 12th, 1989. I was footloose and fancy free back in those days. And I lived just for a few months near Steeles off of Yonge. And so this just, I feel a little bit nostalgic, and I thought I wanted to honor that anniversary by walking Yonge Street again, because when I first did move here, I stayed with a friend for about a week, and then I was moving into another location, the one near Steeles, for a few months until I found an apartment, or I found the apartment. I just needed to wait to gain access to it, and I think that happened in February. No, maybe it was March. February or March. In the meantime, yeah, I think it was March, because I stayed in that location near Steeles for several weeks, it seems. But I used to visit the girlfriend that I was staying with initially for that week. She lived down in St. Clair, so I used to drive back and forth on Yonge Street to get to her place, to visit her. She was the only person that I knew in Toronto, and I felt secure with Yonge Street because it was a straight line and major thoroughfare. Can't go wrong, can't get lost. So Yonge Street was like the first major street that I became quite familiar with. And what I used to do that first summer, or more the first spring, I think, summer, I used to drive down to Harbourfront. I don't know why I drove down, but I did. Instead of taking the subway or walking. I guess it never dawned on me, because in my Calgary days, although I did a lot of walking in Calgary and to and from work, I also drove a lot too. And so I would drive down to Harbourfront and go inside the shops and walk along the water. I loved it. I loved it down there. I loved being in Toronto. It was my first summer in Toronto. It was so beautiful. I was so thrilled, nervous at the same time. Leaving home, the comforts of Calgary and all my friends and family. And just looking forward to all the adventures ahead. And it's been a fabulous stay here in Toronto. I met the love of my life here, and the love of this city. And Yonge Street is a big part of that. It was, I think -4, -6 when I left the house, and I am well dressed, so I can do this walk no problem today. But there is a bit of a breeze, so I apologize if it's interfering at all with the sound. That wind chill is making it a bit cooler than -4, because it certainly feels cooler than -4. So if you have seen my previous BC videos, there's still, I think, 1 or 2 that needs to be uploaded. One should be coming out tomorrow. That is Friday. I can't remember if there was another one. Anyhow, I've already forgotten. But we had a lovely time in BC. We visited members of my family, visited members of David's family. He also has a good buddy out there. They went skiing. We went to Whistler. It was a really nice time. We packed a lot in to the time that we were there. I think we were there for a good week, if not a little longer. Vancouver is so beautiful. This is Teddington Park Avenue. Not a lot of change to the buildings along Yonge Street. I think it's just a matter of time because further south of Lawrence for sure, there are new developments, particularly of course around the Eglinton neighborhood. But it's just a matter of time. Like if you just look at this building, for example, across the street, it's 2 stories. Like they're all 2 stories, except for the one on the corner. How long is that going to last, I wonder? I like doing these videos as well because, you know, Toronto is changing so much that it's nice for me at least to have recordings for posterity. Be able to look back at things that were, or structures that once were. Right there across the street where it says shared spaces, that used to be a restaurant called Wildfire, I think. Now this is like a classic shoe store. Look at the display. Like this is a classic shoe store. You don't see storefront shoe stores displayed this way anymore. At least I don't. I like it. There used to be a Town Shoes, Yonge and St. Clair. It's no longer there, but they had sort of a similar entranceway with, you know, the opportunity to look at shoes from the window. And there was also another store that has recently closed on Yonge Street on the west side called Suzanne's. I think it was it male and female? I know for sure it was they sold female shoes. Male shoes, I'm not sure if they did or not. Anyhow, they were there like forever, ever since I've been in Toronto, and they have shut their doors recently, like permanently shut their doors. They didn't relocate. And they had that same sort of storefront. But that whole, I think that whole section, yeah, I think that whole section might be coming down. I'm not sure now because I know the Capitol Theatre once was what's called the Capitol Theatre. It's now an event venue. Maybe it's still called the Capitol. I think that's going to stay. But I know they want to build some condos in that area, on that side of Yonge Street. I did a video here not that long ago, well, in the summer, I guess. So I used to, when I used to train back in the day for distance runs, you know, we used to train as a group, like twice a week. But then, you know, for distance running, you have to do a lot of training on your own. In other words, like there's a lot of running on your own. And I used to do, near the end of the training season, I would, before any event, I would do a couple of really super long runs. And I used to walk from my house to my starting point, which was Yonge and Eglinton, and then I would run all the way up here to Steeles, west on Steeles, and then south down Bathurst and home. And that run, I think it was a 3-hour run. Yeah, 3 hours for sure. Yeah, I think it was a 3-hour run, yeah. And I used to leave super early in the morning. Of course, it's the summertime, right? And I'm in shorts. And the temperature is still okay early in the morning. So again, this route that I'm walking today also reminds me of my long training runs. Love, love, love Yonge Street. Love it. And when the training runs we used to do, just to talk, maybe conclude a bit, talk about the training for running, but this area in here, we used to do hill training. So we used to start here. I think we'd start here, or maybe it was right up. Yeah, I think it was right up the very top there, where the Loblaws was. And then we would run down this street down here, and then it loops around or through. And that's Hogs Hollow in there. And then right at the lights, the camera won't pick it up, but you can see where the cars have their brake lights on. That's where the lights are. And we would come out from Hogs Hollow down that road, and then we'd be running up this hill all the way up to Loblaws, and then circuit around and run up again. And I don't know how many times we did that, but and so we do this as a group, and there was probably about 20 people. I used to train with the running room. And I did 2 seasons with them before I just started training on my own. But I did 2 years training with them, so I did receive a lot of really good tips and advice. So they used to bring in professional, not professional runners, but like medical professionals. There was a podiatrist that came in, there was a nutritionist that came in, or maybe she was a dietitian. And there were other well-versed professionals that could speak to runners and how to, everything from how to buy your shoes to, how to manage maybe any medical conditions along your runs. So some of those medical conditions might be chafing, or even if you get sick. Some people get dehydrated, some people have upset stomachs. So I talk a lot about how to eat, when to eat, what to eat. So it was really good. I did that for 2 years in a row, and then I sort of did it on my own for several years after that, for my long runs. And I remember one time we had a training event. So we used to have our major long runs on Sundays. We'd get together, and okay, I promise this will be the last talk of running and training, but I just thought of something. I remember there was an event that we did on a Sunday with the group, and usually the long runs were held in the city, but this was an actual competition, I guess, and we were doing, it was called a trail run. I can't remember where it was. I don't remember where it was. It was in the country north of Toronto. Anyway, and it was treacherous actually, because when you're running trails, there's tree roots sticking up, and you know, it's not even, it's not like running on a sidewalk. And it was, I think, a 12K run, and they said it's going to feel like a 23K run. And yeah, that's exactly what it felt like, because you spent so much time and energy watching your footing and where you were stepping. I remember at the conclusion of that run, I was grateful. I haven't done a trail run since because I really didn't like it, and I was so concerned about twisting an ankle or some form of injury. I'm gonna make this walk quickly. Right across the street. And I remember David drove me and two of the people in my running time group. Two people, I think. So he drove us up there and hung around and then drove us home. So I remember the Miller Tavern 30 years ago when it was actually a tavern, like a real old school tavern, where, you know, there were peanut shells on the floor, and it was a real tavern back in the day. And then it shut for a long time, and then it's been probably a good 10 years now, 10, 11 years, maybe more, that it's been renovated and opened. Yeah, so for sure 10 years it's reopened. And it's certainly does not look like a tavern. It's definitely more of a restaurant style establishment. This parkade has always been here to my knowledge. It's a typical January day in Toronto. Overcast. I like these overcast days. And this time of year, because it's the month of my anniversary moving to Toronto, I'm quite sentimental about that, and I do feel a bit of melancholy, but in a good way, not in a sad way. Here we are at Jolly Miller Park. So there's no benches or anything here. It's just a green space with trees. I can't say I ever remember seeing anybody hanging out here. But I wouldn't be surprised if this hill right here was used for tobogganing. I find once we, get to the top of that hill where that Loblaws was, I think that's Yonge Boulevard maybe, that walking along Yonge Street, north or south, in this area here, east up until Shepherd, is pretty quiet. And what I mean by that is there's very few pedestrians along this stretch of Yonge Street. So here we are at Yonge and Wilson / Yonge and York Mills. So to the west, it's called Wilson Avenue, and then to the east, it's York Mills Road. Well, folks, this will conclude this part of the video. Thank you very much for joining me. Please consider subscribing, liking my channel, and sharing. And again, thank you very much to all my viewers and subscribers of 2021. I look forward to at least another year with your support. And again, thank you. This is Boomer Girl Walking, signing off.